What's up, A's fans? The rebuild isn't just about prospects anymore. The 2026 Athletics are about identity. Power bats, athletic defenders, and a bunch of velocity on the mound. Let's break down the entire 2026 A's roster and see if the Athletics are ready to take off and get into the playoffs for the first time since 2020. Let's get started. So, the Athletics have one of the best catchers in all of baseball in Shea Langeliers. He's a premium power bat for a catcher. One of the hardest hitting catchers in baseball. Legit 30 home run pop every year. One of the strongest arms and controls the run game for this team. Austin Wynns is presently the only catcher outside of Langeliers. And he's a game-calling and defensive catcher who definitely helps this young pitching staff. And I do expect him to make the roster this upcoming year. First base, Nick Kurtz. Absolute monster, advanced hitter with the power. Absolute middle-of-the-order cornerstone the next 10-plus years for this team. Elite plate discipline with the strength to drive the ball all fields, and expect him to hit 40 home runs year in, year out for this A's team. A recent pickup in Jeff McNeil is expected to take over the second base position. He's got elite contact ability, just a professional hitter, great back control, tough. He's a tough out. And a good veteran presence that the A's lacked and needs for this team. Max Muncy, presently speaking, is the expected third base starter. It's got a very good amount of patience. And it's got some left-handed power. Works counts, draws walks. And I expect him to start. Max Schuemann, utility guy. High level versatility and speed. He's a glue guy who can help in just about any role, any position, and should make this opening day roster for the A's. Jacob Wilson, absolute stud. Bat to ball skills is phenomenal. High average profile with smooth defense. Calm player, steady shortstop who it's going to help this team for years to come as well. I expect Darnell Hernaiz also to make the roster. His best trait's really versatility. He can play all over the infield, sneaky offensive upside for him. Still young, not going to play too often, but I do expect him to presently make the roster, barring any more additions. Outfield. This team's got some athleticism and power in the outfield. Tyler Soderstrom definitely bringing power. A former converted catcher with serious pop. He's going to be a run producer who punishes mistakes all year and for the foreseeable future, as they have locked him up for 7 years now. So I do expect him to be a very solid player. Unlikely to play the catcher position anymore, but definitely a versatile player. Lawrence Butler, power speed combo, breakout potential, can hit it out or beat out a single with his legs. One of the best young players in baseball. I expect his growth to continue. Denzel Clarke, I expect to make the roster. Likely to could be the starting center fielder initially if he can improve offensively. Still developing in that regard, but his upside is huge. Highlight reel athleticism. Anyone that's seen an A's game has seen his remarkable plays, elite range, cannon arm, and should make this roster. Colby Thomas, I also expect to make the roster as a backup outfielder. More athletic upside, player with speed, solid arm strength, emerging power as well. And I do expect him to make this roster. Can't forget Brent Rooker, DH, pure home run power, middle of the order slugger. When he's hot, pitchers need to adjust their game plan. And I expect him to have a big year here in 2026 for the Athletics. Starting pitching. Rotation, presently speaking, they do need to work on their pitchers. I could see them possibly adding to the team here with free agents. Do they get a veteran to help, or do they stick with the electric arms that they presently are expecting to start for their team? Luis Severino still has an electric arm, veteran, power pitcher, brings leadership, durability, has some swing and miss stuff. I expect him to presently be the ace for this team. Jeffrey Springs pitches with deception and command, elite changeup, and a tough lefty for this team. Jacob Lopez mixes his pitches and strikes guys out. Very smart with his sequencing and competitiveness. Not a hard thrower of the ball, but I do expect him to back up his successful 2025 season in 2026. Luis Morales, I do expect to start for this team as well, without any more additions. Elite velocity, fastballs in the 97, 98 range on average, a little higher on occasion. Frontline stuff, if he can control his command and develop. Luis Medina had some injury issues, was out this past year. Elite velocity, also electric arsenal, also around the 97, 98 range. One of the nastiest arms on this team. And I do expect him, if healthy, to presently be one of the starters for the Athletics. One of the recent additions to the team, I do expect, presently speaking, with his career, Mark Leiter Jr. to be the present closer, most likely a closer by committee, but with his wipeout splitter, solid sinker, I do believe he's built to close tight games. Did struggle last year with a 4.84 ERA with the Yankees, but I do with the present roster construction, he should be the closer to begin the year. Now, I could see Elvis Alvarado overtake that role at some point, throwing in the 98, 99 range on average, brings heat, had a 3.19 ERA, and definitely could take this position over at some point if he can control his command. Justin Sterner, solid relief, tax hitters, high strikeout upside, had a good year in 2025 with a 3.18 ERA, should be back on the roster. Hogan Harris, a left-hander, solid movement on his pitches, gets weak contact and ground balls. Did have a 3.20 ERA last year, so also was fairly good. Michael Kelly, pitches with control, does have some solid speed on his fastball in the 95, 96 range. Limits damage and it's just reliable this past year for the A's, and I see him being back on the roster. Had a 3.18 ERA as well in 2025. Jack Perkins, third strikes, reliable pitcher for this team. I can see him as a spot starter as needed, mid relief. He closed a few games this past year as well, but I do see him making this roster with his flexibility for the Athletics here in 2026. Brady Basso, another lefty I presently expect to make this roster. He's a crafty lefty who changes speeds, doesn't throw too hard, but I do see him possibly making this roster opening day, especially without any further additions. And Tyler Ferguson, my last and 26th man on the roster, good fastball slider combo, 95-96, and tough matchup on righties. Now let's take a look at the remainder of the 46-man roster. JT Ginn, a ground ball specialist, throws 93, 94. Did start some games for the team this past year. I do expect him to get back into the rotation at some point for the Athletics. Joey Estes, one of the best strike throwers and has phenomenal control within this organization. 91, 92 speed, fastball speed for this team. Doesn't throw too hard, but smart. Can trick pitchers with his hitters with his pitches. Zach Gelof was a top prospect for this team a couple years ago. Hasn't played a position outside of second base in a few years. Could he get some practice at third and such in spring training? If he wants to make the roster, I believe so, with Jeff McNeil now on the roster. Does his best traits just having power, being a middle infielder, and can change games when he's hot and healthy. Hasn't been too healthy the last couple of years, though. Mason Barnett, there was 95, power stuff, good ceiling. We'll see how many games he gets into this year. I do expect him to make the roster and get added to the team at some point. Carlos Cortes could make the opening day roster with his contact bat ability, good approach, not too much power, more of a line drive hitter, but it could make the roster for the A's. Brett Harris, infielder, got some versatility, very good plate discipline, works counts, just a solid piece that could be brought up and down as needed. Just needs a little more consistent with his bat. Gunnar Hoglund, a man-first starter. We'll see if he can, how many starts he can get into this year. Hopefully they can stay healthy if he does. If they do, I don't see him getting too many opportunities unless he slides to the bullpen. Mitch Spence, good fastball life. Doesn't throw too hard, though. Did have a tough year this past year with a 5.10 ERA. I could see him DFA'd if they do happen to add more to the team, but right now I don't see him necessarily making the opening day 26-man roster. Junior Perez, athleticism, speed, got some outfield defense flexibility. Young hasn't made the majors to this point, so we'll see if he can continue to develop. Grant Holman throws 95, 96. Solid arm. Did struggle this past year for the A's with the 5.09 ERA. I'm sure he'll get called up at some point to help this roster. Eduardo Nunez, absolute gas, probably the best arm in the organization. Averages 99, 100, hits 101 on occasion. Should get called up again this year. Could make the roster. I think his lack of control at times could hinder that initially, but definitely will be an asset at points this year. Henry Baez hasn't passed or hasn't even hit AAA thus far. Should this year. Pure arm strength, throwing 96, 97 for the most part, getting a little higher. But solid pitcher, and I expect him to possibly crack the rotation this year. Shenzong, 90 to 92. Just more of a deceptive and finesse pitcher. We'll see if he can make the majors at some point. I could see him just staying the 40-man throughout the year and not crack the roster. But we'll see. Braden Nett, one of their top prospects. And there's 96, 97, good pitch mix. I could see him taking a big step. Still quite young. So might not necessarily push to make the roster initially, but definitely could see him make the team at some point throughout this year. And a final take with the Athletics, soon to be Las Vegas Athletics. They'll actually be playing 6 games in Las Vegas this upcoming year, despite not fully being ready, most likely till the 2028 season. But these Athletics are built on athletic bats, real power, and got some good, strong velocity. If their development hits, especially on the mound, this team can surprise a lot of people, even with their lack of major league experience. They only have 7 players with more than 3 years of service expected to make the roster as of this moment. With I believe the velocity is real, the power is real. In terms of the future, it's coming fast and just in time for Las Vegas. I don't believe yet that the Athletics will make the playoffs, but they are improving. And if they can get some more pitching to this roster the next year, they're going to be perennial all-star, playoff contenders. And they've got a lot of young talent, and I hope they get there. If you'd be so kind, please drop your breakout picks for the A's here in the comments below. Leave a like, subscribe, and thank you for listening, and hope you've enjoyed the video. Thanks, everybody. Have a great one.